Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Gaur Vrindanande.
Hare Krishna. So, those that weren't here for the last 2 days, this is third and final day of Maharaj's discourse on the pastimes of Lord Ram and Lord Hanuman. So we're very appreciative that Maharaj has joined us after so many years in Naveka, and we hope Maharaj has been enjoying his stay with us. So we're grateful that all of you could join us today. So just for those of you, I have done the introduction twice already. Just one more time, Maharaj, that Maharaj is leading the GBC for South Africa, Russia, the Baltic states and Mauritius, and some African countries as well. And just background, Maharaj started in Iskcon in 1973, meeting Srila Prabhupada in 1972, and Maharaj took initiation in 1972 and he took sannyas in 1994. I believe it was Gaur Purnima in Mayapur program, Maharaj.
Yeah.
And Maharaj took sannyas from Giriraj Maharaj. So we're really grateful that Maharaj is here, and we hope that you all enjoy the discourse. And those of you that missed the first 2 days, please look at Maharaj's Facebook page. It has been recorded, and the discourse for the last number of days is on there. And there's many other discourses that you can watch on Maharaj's Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
And you know what? Or maybe we can get a piece of paper and a pen. If anyone has any questions, comments, or whatever like that, you could write them down as we go, and then at the end we can try and answer them, respond to them.
The questions, Maharaj, is it only regarding Maharaj's discourse for Lord Ram, or can it be
just Krishna consciousness in general? Yeah. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhare Gopi Jana Ballabha Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhare Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana Yamunatira Ram Jayavishvat Paramahansa Paragrajacharya Status Sismad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Iskcon's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Sundar Ki. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki. Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Ki. Shri Ram Navami Mahotsava Ki. Go Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Hare Krishna everyone. Hare Rama. Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Sundar Ki Jai. So we are devotees and friends. It's a belated Ram Navami festival. This, apparently I was not aware, but I was just told the other day, we didn't have a festival on Wednesday for Ram Navami because we're doing it right now for 3 days. So that's nice to really glorify Lord Ram appropriately and suitably. So what we've been doing is going through the descriptions in Srimad Bhagavatam, the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 10, which is titled The Pastimes of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra. We're focusing on Lord Ram's pastimes as described here, particularly or especially because Srimad Bhagavatam is accepted by basically all the Vaishnav authorities as being the most authentic, you could say, of the Vedic literatures, in that it was not, what would you say, damaged or changed historically, back whenever, some hundreds of years ago, when a lot of the Vedic literatures, or at least some of them, were actually destroyed and or partially destroyed. And what a great shame, a terrible shame, but it's too late now. So we have to make the most of things now as we're able. And yes, the thing is that Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the few literatures which was not damaged. Yeah, it exists as it is. Even Valmiki Ramayan. Well, what has happened with Valmiki Ramayan is that there are different versions, somewhat different versions of Valmiki Ramayan. And an interesting one, just to illustrate the principle that there are different versions, in some versions addressing one particular pastime or one particular point. The different versions of Valmiki Ramayan say different things. This is there, unfortunately. You don't get that, or you don't really get that with Srimad Bhagavatam. Like, for example, a very good example, very important example even, is you may know that there are descriptions of Lord Ram before crossing to Lanka. At least some say that he prayed to Lord Shiva, and not just prayed to, but really like appealed to Lord Shiva for mercy, to be able to do it and to be successful in his mission. But then in others, that is not stated. Yeah, and it's an example. So it makes it a little difficult because you get these different versions. That's just one example of something which was somehow or other modified in these different versions of Valmiki Ramayan. And Valmiki Ramayan is one of the Vedic literatures, actually. It's not like Ramcharitamanas, which is, a later creation altogether, and, not even in Sanskrit, but in Hindi. So, yes, but Srimad Bhagavatam, it presents all the different things it presents completely authoritatively, and therefore, in regard to any particular subject which is described in different of the Vedic literatures, the versions, where there's a version given in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's always best to stick with that, otherwise you never know. You might just be dealing with some sort of fantasy or something which not actually true, which, is not good. So, yes, we're focusing here on the pastimes of Lord Ram as described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And we've been at it since Friday night. Quite a few of you have been here. Friday night, last night, or yesterday afternoon. And we are continuing today. And we are going to conclude today with at least the basic conclusion. I mean, there's more historically, but the basic conclusion of Lord Ram defeating Ravan and rescuing Mother Sita and then returning to Ayodhya. There's more after that, but these things we're going to be focusing on now. Right, so please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Yes, right. As we will read through the description here. And as we go, we'll make a few comments here and there. Some interesting points arise, actually. So we're beginning with verse 16. Badvo dado ragupatir vividatri kutai Setun kapindra karakampita buru hangai Sugriva nila hanumat pramukair anikair Lankam vibisha nadrisha vishad agra dagdham. Translation. After constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of great monkeys, Lord Ramachandra went to Lanka to release Sita Devi from the clutches of Ravana with the direction and help of Vibhishana, Ravana's brother. The Lord, along with the monkey soldiers headed by Sugriva, Nila and Hanuman, entered Ravana's kingdom Lanka, which had previously been burnt by Hanuman. Yes, you may, if you're familiar with the story, you may be aware that I'm sure many of you are aware of how when Hanuman was really young, then it's a bit of a long story, but he was very hungry. His mother was busy. He asked, I want to eat. What can I eat? And she said, well, just look up there. It means in the trees. Anything which is red, yellow, that's fruit. Just eat it. And he looked up and he saw in the tree, through the tree, the sun. So he went and sort of ate it, put it into his mouth. And the whole universe suddenly became dark. And it was like a bit of a crisis. Lord Indra was having a meeting. He was having a meeting, with various of the devas and devis, the demigods. And suddenly they're in darkness. What happened? And then Indra understood. It was that monkey who was flying up this way just some moments ago. And he heard the sound of Hanuman a little way away. So he threw his Vajra. It's like a lightning bolt. And it struck Hanuman. Actually, up to that point, Hanuman was not known as Hanuman. He was Anjaneya. It struck Hanuman, Anjaneya, in the jaw and damaged his jaw. And that's where he got the name Hanuman from. Because Hanuman means one whose jaw is like damaged. Affected in some way like that. Anyway, like I said, it's a bit of a long story. But Hanuman, when he got attacked like that, he was not happy at all. And Lord Indra and Lord Brahma and company came and they said, listen, can you open your mouth please so we can get the sun back? And Hanuman said, you smash me in the jaw and now you want some favor from me? Get out of here. So he wouldn't open his mouth and get the sun back. So the demigods bribed him. Each one of them offered some particular power that they had. Lord Brahma is the longest living entity in the universe. So he told Hanuman, you can live as long as me. Vayu said that you can move as fast as me. And Agni said, you'll never be touched or burnt by fire. So when this whole thing happened, which we'll say a little bit about as we go, where Hanuman not exactly was captured, but he came in front of Ravana, and Ravana wanted to burn his tail. You know the story. He didn't really get burnt, but he just used the situation, as the verse says, that Lanka had previously been burnt by Hanuman. I'm sure you know about that. But here's a little lesson that we can learn. In fact, maybe there's a couple of lessons that we can learn, is that they threw into the sea boulders and peaks of mountains, and they floated. They floated, and there was one squirrel. Some say spider, actually, but there was one squirrel. You know the squirrel story?
I just read it this morning.
Ah, okay. Maybe you should tell the story.
No. So we were saying, is it ant? Is it everybody had a different opinion?
Oh, okay. Anyway, let's say squirrel. What's squirrel in Hindi? Gilhari, is it? Or something like that? Hindi wallas? Naisa Masai? No. Anyway, squirrel. He was a devotee, and he got inspired seeing Hanuman and his associates taking all these rocks and throwing them in the sea, and they were floating. So, you know, he's a squirrel. I don't know if you have squirrels here. We were just in Cape Town. They got squirrels there, right by where our temple is. Quite a number of them. So he was picking up small rocks, you know, maybe like that size or something, and throwing them into the sea also, and they were also floating, and he was thinking, great, I am serving my Lord by doing this. Very good. But the problem was that Hanuman and his other monkey associates, as they're running up and down with these big boulders and even mountain peaks, etc., and, you know, they couldn't really see where they're going because they're holding a big boulder up like this. So sometimes they almost stepped on the squirrel, and it would have been good night squirrel, Padme Malenge. So Hanuman said to the squirrel, listen, I can see you want to help. That's nice. But I tell you what, if you want to help, stop trying to help. Just stop and get out of the way, all right? Because we are doing the real service here. You with your little rocks, we don't really need them. So the squirrel was disappointed. Oh my gosh. Because it was his service to his Lord. It really meant something to him. So, but now Lord Ram heard what Hanuman had said, and he understood the situation. So he chastised Hanuman that I appreciate this squirrel's service as much as yours, because he is serving me to his capacity. As much as he's able, he's dedicated himself to my service. So therefore, I value his service as much as I value yours. So don't you treat him like that. Don't become proud, thinking you're big, important devotee and you can push others around. So that's interesting and that's important, because we are devotees here. We have a little devotee. Tamara, naam kya hai? Do you know your name? Naam kya hai? Anand. Oh, what a nice name. Ajke Anand ki jai. Anand. So he may be a devotee. He can do some service in his small way. And there are others, younger teenagers and so on. They can serve in other ways. And then there's adults, like business people who are very intelligent and they can serve in other ways, and so on and so forth. And everyone should try and do what they can for the pleasure of the Lord. And we, or all the other devotees, when we see that there's someone doing the best they can according to their capacity, we should appreciate that. And if it's like quantitatively less than what we do or can do, then we shouldn't become proud thinking, look at me, I'm better. Because it's a matter of doing your best, actually doing your best, according to your capacity. So, that happened. And another thing which I want to touch on here, which happened at the same time, oh gosh, if I can find it, is that Vibhishana, one of the brothers of Ravan, he had a whole sort of altercation and argument with Ravana, because Vibhishan was quite sort of open. He didn't try to hide that he was not a demon or a rakshasa like Ravana was, but actually he was a devotee of Lord Ram. So they had a big argument about it, and basically, anyway, Vibhishan left, and he came flying over. And when he came flying over from Lanka, then, if I remember correctly, it was particularly Sugriva, but it was somebody, one of the associates of Lord Ram, who saw that, look, there's some sort of vehicle coming from Lanka. It must be one of Ravana's associates, and so let's just kill him. And Lord Ram said, no. There's no need to do that. There's no need to do that. Let's just see what he wants, because he can't. How can he hurt us? There's just one of him and there's all of us. So he can't hurt us. But Sugriva, was it Sugriva? I think it was Sugriva. It was someone like that.
I think it was Bali Maharaj's son.
Bali Maharaj's son.
Yeah, that the brothers were fighting each other. It was about for the kingdom, and then Lord Ram shot him. Like,
Sugriva,
Sugriva's brother.
brother.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
you may well be right.
his son.
Thank you very much. We'll check it out next time. Bali. Maybe, yeah. Anyway, one of them complained, and really complained, that, we should just kill him. Then we don't have to worry about what he says. He may try to trick us and mislead us, something like that, confuse us. So just let me kill him. And then, it simplifies the matter. You don't have to worry, is he lying or is he not lying? So Lord Ram, again, he didn't appreciate. He really did not appreciate this idea. But let us say Bali, he again, in comes Vibhishan, and he gets out, and Bali says,
Sorry, I got the name. It's Angad.
Angad. Could have been Angad too, yeah. Okay. You're sure? Okay. Prabhuji says so. Must be authoritative. Okay, no, it's all right. So anyway, Vibhishan came, and he just threw himself at the lotus feet of Lord Ram, and he said, "My Lord, from this day I am yours." And Angad said, "Don't believe him, just let me kill him." And he said, famous line, "The only good demon is a dead demon." But then Lord Ram told him, "Listen, you stop this. Just stop this." And Lord Ram spoke this verse, which I just located. It's Ramayan Yudhakanda chapter 18 verse 33, but it appears in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Majjalila chapter 22 verse 34, so it's authoritative. And this is Lord Ram speaking. Sakrid eva prapano yas tavas miti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadam yetad vratam mama. Vratam mama means this is my vow. So he says, it is my vow, Lord Ram says, it is my vow that if a person only once seriously surrenders unto me, saying, "My dear Lord, from this day I'm yours," and prays to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on. He'll always be protected by the Lord. So Lord Ram spoke that verse, and then he said that even if Ravana himself came and bowed down before me and offered to become my servant, I would immediately accept him. I would immediately accept him. So this is the mood of Lord Ramachandra, and it's very much like the mood of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya takes it even a bit further, that even people who don't surrender to him, he accepts. But the same type of mood is there, very, very merciful mood, and not, that this person, his brother hates me, so therefore I'll hate him. So, there you go, devotees. Something to think about, a couple of things to think about. Right. Okay, let's move on here. Let us move on. Verse 17. After entering Lanka, the monkey soldiers, led by chiefs like Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, occupied all the sporting houses, granaries, treasuries, palace doorways, city gates, assembly houses, palace frontages, and even the resting houses of the pigeons. When the city's crossroads, platforms, flags, and golden water pots on its domes were all destroyed, the entire city of Lanka appeared like a river disturbed by a herd of elephants. I'm just reading the translations now. When Ravana, the master of the Rakshasas, saw the disturbances created by the monkey soldiers, he called for Nikumba, Kumbha, Dumraksha, Duramukha, Surantika, Narantika, and other Rakshasas, and also his son Indrajit. Thereafter he called for Prahasta, Atikaya, Vikampana, and finally Kumbhakarna, who's also his brother, one of his brothers. Then he induced all his followers to fight against the enemies. So just one point just to mention is that the verse describes Ravana as the master of the Rakshasas. And Rakshasa, you know what that means, right? What does it mean?
Demons.
Huh?
Demons.
Demon. Well, yeah, Asura is more like demon. Rakshasa specifically means cannibal, eater of humans. And I'm sure you all know we are not in favor of meat eating. You're aware of that. We are basically anti or not in favor for sure. But what about eating humans? It's one thing if some people want to eat, the bodies of animals. But eating the bodies of humans, that's another level down, another level of degradation. So that was Ravana. And Ravana, of course, we talked about the kidnapping of Sita yesterday, wasn't it? And Ravana wanted her to willingly accept him. So he kept on telling her, not asking, but telling, you must do this, you should do this. I want you to do this. And she was just completely refusing. So eventually, after a while, he said to her, listen, I will give you 1 month. And if you don't agree to accept me like your husband, then I will eat you for breakfast. And he meant it. He was serious, and he would have, if he was able, he would have done it. Because that's the sort of person he was. And many of his associates and his family members, like Kumbhakarna is mentioned, it's a monster. You can write something. If you don't want to, that's okay. Then pass it on to someone else. Yeah. So, okay, let's carry on. Yeah, someone can write down if you've got a question, comment, or whatever. Lord Ramachandra, surrounded by Lakshman and monkey soldiers, like Sugriva, Hanuman, Gandamada, Nila, Angada, Jambavan, and Panasa, attacked the soldiers of the Rakshasas, who were fully equipped with various invincible weapons, like swords, lances, bows, prasas, rishtis, shakti arrows, khadgas, and tomaras. Angada and the other commanders of the soldiers of Ramachandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses, and chariots of the enemy and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs, and arrows. In the purport, I won't read the purport, but Prabhupada makes the point that the army of Lord Ram, which was mainly, not entirely, but mainly monkeys and some bears, they didn't have the same types of weaponry as the soldiers of Ravana. Some had some clubs, arrows, swords, and the typical type of thing. Others had trees, rocks, mountain peaks, and that's what they were using. Of course, if someone hit you over the head with a mountain peak, you would know all about it, wouldn't you? Yeah, but still, their weaponry was much simpler. Yeah. So Prabhupada says, though, if you have to fight someone, depending on the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one must fight one's enemies, even though one may not be equipped with modern weapons. Therefore, Krishna instructed Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 verse 7, think of me and fight. Kya ho raha hai? Really? Wow. Hare Krishna. Thank you. How beautiful. Yes, right. And then the verse, just to continue with the verse, there's a very important point here. Thus, the soldiers of Lord Ramachandra killed Ravana's soldiers, who had lost all good fortune, because Ravana had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. The same point will come out a little more strongly, actually, just after maybe several verses. The thing is, well, it's very interesting. It's one thing for Ravana to be killed because of the anger of Sita. But what about all his soldiers? All of them, every single last one was killed without exception. Yeah. So, but they were killed. They had lost their good fortune, like their normal life expectancy. They had lost that because Ravana had been cursed or condemned by the anger of Sita. They had not exactly been condemned, the soldiers, but they were the followers of Ravana. And when you follow someone, your future becomes, very closely connected with the future of the person that you're following. Yes, it's a very important point indeed. Yes, so, like Srila Prabhupada, if we follow Srila Prabhupada, we will go to where he has gone to, which is the kingdom of God. But if you follow, for example, sometimes you get these people who claim to be God, but they're not God, but they get some followers, So those followers are going to go to whatever inauspicious place that the so-called avatar is going to go. That's fine, just, yeah. Okay, yeah, you can write if you want. Right. So Ravana's soldiers, they were following Ravana. They were dependent on Ravana. And for their futures were connected with, like inextricably connected with the future of Ravana, which was not good at all. So, Mother Sita, of course, she was very angry. She was really not happy at all, being kidnapped and harassed by Ravana. You must marry me or I'll eat you. She was not happy at all. And because of that, what to speak of Ravana himself, but his followers lost their lives early. Yeah. And that was her power. That was her power. She was not powerful in the sense like physically, like I'm sure you got a few here in PE. You get these ladies sometimes, they do, bodybuilding, weightlifting. You know what I mean? You seen any of them? Big muscles. I think some of them, even our men here, some of those ladies could just wipe out any of our men without difficulty. Yes. So Sita, her power, and this will be mentioned in a few minutes, it was there in her chastity, her faithfulness to her husband, her purity, her piety, and there was great power there, but more like a mystical type of power. By her being offended, the karma of all these people changed and deteriorated, so they lost their lives. Oops. Yes, so thereafter, when Ravana, the king of the Rakshasas, observed that his soldiers had been lost, he was extremely angry. Thus he mounted his airplane, which was decorated with flowers, and proceeded toward Lord Ramachandra, who sat on the effulgent chariot brought by Matali, the chariot driver of Indra. Then Ravana struck Lord Ramachandra with sharp arrows, which had no real effect. Lord Ramachandra said to Ravana, "You are the most abominable of the man-eaters." It's one thing to eat meat, it's another thing to eat humans. But to be the most abominable of the man-eaters, what can you say? Just hopeless cases. Indeed, you are like their stool. You resemble a dog, for as a dog steals eatables from the kitchen in the absence of the householder, in my absence you kidnap my wife Sita Devi. Therefore, as Yamaraj punishes sinful men, I shall also punish you. You are most abominable, sinful, and shameless. Today, therefore, I, whose attempt never fails, shall punish you. So, here we go, devotees. We come to basically the climax. You're all sitting down, that's good. Fasten your seat belts. You've got seat belts. After thus rebuking Ravana, Lord Ramachandra fixed an arrow to his bow. It was actually a Brahmastra weapon, which is in the form of an arrow, aimed at Ravana and released the arrow, which pierced Ravana's heart like a thunderbolt. Upon seeing this, Ravana's followers raised a tumultuous sound, crying, "Alas, alas, what has happened? What has happened?" As Ravana, vomiting blood from his 10 mouths, fell from his airplane, just as a pious man falls to earth from the heavenly planets when the results of his pious activities are exhausted. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. There you go. Right, so thereafter, all the women whose husbands had fallen in the battle, headed by Mandodari, the wife of Ravana, came out of Lanka, continuously crying. They approached the dead bodies of Ravana and the other Rakshasas. And Mandodari, she's not the only wife, but she's the main wife of Ravana, and she's actually famous as a pious lady, as a chaste lady. Yeah. Striking their breasts in affliction because their husbands had been killed by the arrows of Lakshman. The women embraced their respective husbands and cried piteously in voices appealing to everyone. And now Mandodari speaks. "O my Lord, O Master, you epitomize trouble for others, and therefore you are called Ravana. But now that you have been defeated, we also are defeated. For without you, the state of Lanka has been conquered by the enemy. To whom will it go for shelter?" And Prabhupada mentions in the purport, the word Ravana means one who causes crying for others. That's what he was like. And she continues, "O greatly fortunate one, you came under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you're being reduced to the state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra." Again, the influence, the power of Sita. And Prabhupada mentions, let me just read a couple of sentences here of the purport. Not only was Mother Sita powerful, but any woman who follows in the footsteps of Mother Sita can also become similarly powerful. There are many instances of this in the history of Vedic literature. Whenever we find a description of ideal chaste women, Mother Sita is among them. Mandodari, the wife of Ravana, was also very chaste. Similarly, Draupadi was one of 5 exalted chaste women. As a man must follow great personalities like Lord Brahma, Narada Muni, a woman must follow the path of such ideal women as Sita, Mandodari and Draupadi by staying chaste and faithful to her husband. A woman enriches herself with supernatural power. Hare Krishna, ladies. We got some powerful ladies here, aren't they? Yes, seriously. But very important for ladies to bear in mind. So she continues, "O pleasure of the Rakshasa dynasty, because of you the state of Lanka, and also we ourselves now have no protector, By your deeds, you have made your body fit to be eaten by vultures, and your soul fit to go to hell. Yes. So what do you think? Pretty amazing, isn't it? So that's as far as we'll go in terms of reading. Well, no, actually, we'll read a bit more. Yeah, let me just go on and read a couple of verses. Because now, that's basically, you could say, that's the end of the battle. Ravana is killed. You know, there's an interesting point. On the last night, before the day when Ravana was killed, Lord Ram met with Ravana. He had a meeting with him. They would do that. At night, they go and visit the opposing side and talk and just, kind of socialize. So Lord Ram met with Ravana and he said, listen, just give me Sita back. That's all. And you keep your kingdom. You keep all your wealth. Everything. You just keep it. And you rule Lanka. And I will bring all your soldiers and relatives and friends who have been killed. I'll bring them all back to life. And I'll make them forget that we were ever enemies. And I'll make them think we were always friends and we will be friends. We'll be friends. Just give me Sita back, that's all. And Ravana, who was not known for making good choices, good decisions, unfortunately he said no. And that was it. And there's mention of when Ravana came out, he was the last one left. Every single soldier, etc., on his side, they're all dead. He came out and he saw Lord Ram's army, because Lord Ram had revived anyone who had been killed or even just hurt. And he saw the size of the army. In Sanskrit, the Sanskrit number is 1 koti, which means 10 million, 1 koti maha oga, which means 1 followed by 64 zeros. What's that? It's more than a billion, a trillion, a quadrillion, a zillion. It's just, who knows how many that is. Vast number. But Ravana was such a materialist. And he had, materialists, they have the staunch materialists. They have the tendency to think, yeah, I can do it. I'm great. I can defeat my opponents. No problem. And Ravana, he's like the epitome of such a materialist. And he saw the army, this massive army, and he thought, no problem, I'll just kill them all, that's all. So that anyway, he didn't make it. And interesting point, you may know that before Lord Ram fired that arrow, the Brahmastra weapon, at his heart, he was firing arrows at the heads, the 10 heads of Ravana. You heard about that? You heard about that? Yes. And so he'd knock one head off, and another one would just pop up, just like that, one after the other. But then only after some time he fired an arrow at the heart. Just the one arrow, Brahmastra. The reason was because Ravana was, what would you say exactly? You could say addicted in a sense. He was always thinking of Sita. He was always thinking of Sita within his heart. The heart area of the heart being the seat of consciousness. And when you think of a transcendental person like Ram, like Krishna, like Sita, they're present. They're present. They're actually present. And they can speak to you just by your thinking of them. So he was thinking of Sita. That means she was there in the region of his heart. So Lord Ram didn't want to fire an arrow at his heart. But then finally, after some time, Ravana became so angry, he forgot about Sita. And then Lord Ram immediately fired that arrow. And that was the end of Ravana. Yes, okay, let us read a few verses from the end of the chapter. Lord Ramachandra became king during Treta Yuga, but because of his good government, the age was like Satya Yuga. Everyone was religious and completely happy. Treta Yuga's like, well, you begin with Satya Yuga, it's a golden age. Then Treta Yuga is like a silver age. Dwapara is like a bronze age. And Kali Yuga, what we're in now, is an iron age, most degraded. So it was actually, Treta Yuga means silver age. Very nice, but not the best. Satya Yuga is the best. But because of his good government, the age was like Satya Yuga. Everyone was religious and completely happy. This is now verse 53. Listen to this. Just listen to this. When Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear, and fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it. And let me just read Prabhupada's very short purport. All these facilities existed because of Lord Ramachandra's presence as the king of the entire world. A similar situation could be introduced immediately, even in this age called Kali, the worst of all ages. It is said, Kali Kale, Nama Rupe, Krishna Avatar. Krishna descends in this Kali Yuga in the form of his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If we chant offenselessly, Ram and Krishna are still present in this age. The kingdom of Ram was immensely popular and beneficial, and the spreading of this Hare Krishna movement can immediately introduce a similar situation, even in this Kali Yuga. And now some final words about Lord Ram and Mother Sita. One verse about each. Lord Ramachandra took a vow to accept only one wife and have no connection with any other women. Now you might think, well, what's the big thing about that. I mean, that's just normal. But in those days it wasn't normal for the Kshatriyas, the warriors and the royalty, to just have one wife. It was normal. The majority would have 2 or 3 or 4. Yeah. Yes, or more. Vasudev, Krishna's father, had 16. Yeah. So that Ram took a vow to accept only one wife. It's called Eka Patni Vrata. Eka Patni Vrata. Vrata means vow. One wife, Eka Patni. He was a saintly king, and everything in his character was good, untinged by qualities like anger. He taught good behavior for everyone, especially for householders, in terms of Varnashram Dharma. Thus he taught the general public by his personal activities. And last verse, Premna nivritya shilena prasraya vanatasati biyahriya chabhavagya Bhartu Sita Haran Manaha. Mother Sita was very submissive, faithful, shy, and chaste, always understanding the attitude of her husband. Thus, by her character and her love and service, she completely attracted the mind of the Lord. And Prabhupada comments, as Lord Ramachandra is the ideal husband, Mother Sita is the ideal wife. Such a combination makes family life very happy. Yad yad acharti shreshtas, tat tad eve tarojana. Whatever example a great man sets, common people follow. If the kings, the leaders, and the Brahmins, the teachers, would set forth the examples we receive from Vedic literature, the entire world would be heaven. Indeed, there would no longer be hellish conditions within this material world. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki.
Jai.
Could you just, pass me that? Thank you. We'll try to quickly. There's only anyway, looks like about 4 questions. In the purport of chapter 2, verse 7 in Bhagavad Gita, it says that a disciple of a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. What's your understanding of this? Yes, well, Prabhupada was asked once, do you know everything? And Prabhupada said, no, I don't. But Krishna does, and he tells me. So, when you're a special devotee, really special, like Prabhupada, then Krishna just tells you whatever you want to know. No problem at all. Absolutely no problem. Actually, the fact is, from Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, verse 15, who's going to tell me what that one is? Any Bhagavad Gita scholars here?
Sarvasya cha.
Well. Yes, sir.
Matas prishti jhanam apohanam cha.
Okay, thank you. Krishna saying, Sarvasya cha aham hridi. Sanivishto. I'm seated in everyone's heart. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So whatever we remember anyway, that memory is given by the Lord. And if you're a great devotee, and even if you're not a great devotee, but you're a sincere devotee, you try your best, Krishna will tell you a lot, really a lot, and help you really a lot. So, yes, if you serve someone like Srila Prabhupada, specifically Srila Prabhupada, then Krishna will also give you whatever knowledge you need. And in that sense, you become able to know everything, at least everything that's worth knowing. I hope that's okay. That's the basic idea. Well, we mentioned this now. What yuga did Ram come in? It was Treta Yuga. What yuga did Krishna come in? It was Dwapara. In Kali Yuga, who will be coming? Or did he come already? Well, he came 500 or so years ago. Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya. As Lord Chaitanya. And he gave the religious process for this age, which is the chanting of the holy names. Therefore, that verse, well, a line from the verse was mentioned. Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. No, it's very simple Sanskrit, I think. Anyone who understands Hindi will understand it very easily, or Gujarati. In Kali Kale, in the Kali time, or Kali Yuga, Nama Rupe, in the form of the name, Krishna Avatar. Krishna descends. Right. The thing is, so anyway, yeah, that was Lord Chaitanya who came, what was it, in 1486, by our, years, 1486. So what's that? It's sort of
600 years ago.
No, it's not. It's 538. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah. But, an interesting point about Lord Ram coming, it's Treta Yuga. But it was not this Treta Yuga. It was Treta Yuga in a previous cycle of the yugas, because Sahasra Yuga Paradyantam Aharyad Brahmano Vidu, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that a day of Lord Brahma, in a day of Lord Brahma, there is Sahasra Yuga. There are 1,000 cycles of the 4 yugas. And Lord Ram appears in, it's a long story, but one of the previous Treta Yugas. But yes, well, thank you for your interest in that. Please explain the lesson to learn when Mother Sita was expelled from the palace while she was pregnant. Yes, well, in Lord Ram's pastimes, there's some sort of, things which are a bit difficult for people to digest unless they have a deeper understanding of what's going on. And the thing is that that in particular, that's the pastime of the Lord. That's the pastime of the Lord. And they were then reunited after that because they are eternally together. Actually, when Lord Ram went to chase the deer, the baby deer, because Sita wanted to have it as a pet, but it was Maricha, the wizard sent by Ravana. Then Lakshman was thinking, no, this deer, look at this deer, this is not an ordinary deer. This is like some magical, mystical deer. So just let it go. Let it go. It'll cause trouble. But Mother Sita was insisting, I want that deer, please get the deer. So Ram felt obliged. Therefore he went off to get the deer, and long story short, but Sita was kidnapped. So Lakshman, the younger brother, thought, that was a bad decision of Lord Ram. It was a bad decision. And he tried to talk him out of it. Yeah, he tried to talk him out of it. But he was thinking, Lakshman was thinking, bad decision. I would not have done that. And Lakshman thought, next time we come to this world, I will be the older brother. Because now I'm the younger brother. And traditionally, what can you do? If your older brother says, in the absence of your father, this is the way it's going to be, it's basically the way it's going to be. And you're obliged to accept it. Next thing was when Ram said Sita must walk through fire, which is also a leela, a special leela, for the real Sita to return and the Maya Sita to go back to Agni Loka. But Lakshman said, Ram said, yes, she must walk through fire, prove her purity. And Lakshman said, she doesn't need to do that. Prove her purity. Everybody knows she's completely pure. So don't make her do that. It's not nice. And even if you feel it should be done, that no one's going to build the fire, no one's going to do it. If they know she's meant to walk through it, no one's going to build the fire. And Lord Ram said, Lakshman, someone is going to build the fire. You are going to build the fire. And Lakshman thought, oh no, it's another one of these decisions. Bad decision. Next lifetime, next time, I want to be the older brother. I'm going to be the older brother. I'll make better arrangements. And then Sita is banished. And Lord Ram says, yeah, well, she should just be taken out on a chariot and just told, just get out and have a look around the forest. And then the chariot driver should just leave her in the forest. And Lakshman said, who's going to do that? No one's going to do that. That's terrible. And Lord Ram said, Lakshman, you're going to do it. And then 3 times, because Vedic standard, 3 times, and that's it. So then Lakshman decided, that's it. Next time, I'm going to be the older brother, and that's all there is to it. So next time, he appeared as Balaram, who's Krishna's older brother. And there were still a few problems there when Balaram was the older brother. So then, when Krishna appeared as Lord Chaitanya, Balaram became Lord Nityananda. Because, Balaram is just slightly older than Krishna. He's older, but just slightly. But Lord Nityananda is 12 years older. He's really older. And he looked after Lord Chaitanya very nicely. So, what did Hanuman bring from Lord Ram? Well, we spoke about that yesterday. You should have been here. It was a ring, right? It was a ring. It was a ring, wasn't it? That's right. One of Lord Ram's rings. And this was meant to convince Sita that Hanuman was bona fide. And it was not like just a trick of some sort. But, and we mentioned yesterday, what did we mention yesterday? That when Hanuman, who just met Lord Ram just after Sita was kidnapped, Hanuman was asking Lakshman, tell me what Sita looks like, and me and my friends, We'll find her. We'll find her. Tell me what she looks like. And Lakshman said, I don't know what she looks like. You know that story, don't you? It's very nice. And Hanuman said, no, come on. I want to help, so tell me. What does she look like? And Lakshman said, no, I don't know what she looks like. And Hanuman, third time, tell me what she looks like. Please don't play with me. And Lakshman said, I don't know what she looks like, because I'd never looked above her feet. So he gave a beautiful description of Sita's lotus feet and the special markings of the feet. Because a ring, anyone could make like a duplicate of a ring. It's not difficult for an experienced jeweler. So anyone could have done that. But to have a person with the same markings in the soles of the feet, you can't do that. We've just got little swirls and curls and things, right, in the soles of our feet. But she had, you see there on the altar on the right, the markings on Krishna's feet, the markings on Lord Chaitanya's feet. When a devotee dies, this is the last one, when a devotee dies in the day or night, can you still go to the spiritual world? Yes. You're probably referring, thank you, to the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In the last verses, the last several or something verses in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains circumstances under which a person who's following karma kandya, means materialistic religion, like elevation to the heavenly planets, that sort of thing. Circumstances under which such a person may either go to the heavenly planets or not. Like if you die during the northern summer, which is sort of coming up now, or it started now, then you can go to the heavenly planets. But if you die during the northern winter or our summer, then you can't. You'll go to some lower position. That's there in Bhagavad Gita. And that's for people who are following materialistic religion and not spiritual transcendental religion. So, if you've got some relative who's really into worshipping Lord Shiva, Durga, and so on, and Ganesh, and etc., and they're getting to the point, they're not going to live much longer, tell them, listen, hang on until it's the northern summer, okay? Don't die. It looks like you're going to die. Just hold on. Otherwise, it'll be problematic. Okay, devotees, I will close by telling you one last little story, which some of you, I think, will know, about Hanuman. When they got back, just after what we've been reading about, when they got back, Hanuman came to Ayodhya, and he was there. And like the first day after they got back, Sita started wearing sindoor in her parting. Not just a dot. They call it a bullet hole, a red dot. Yeah. Not just a red dot, but sindoor in the parting, and the parting is in the middle. in the case of a married woman who is with her husband. If it's a married woman whose husband has passed away, the parting is on the, I think, left. So anyway, she was now wearing sindoor, because when she was in Lanka, she wasn't wearing sindoor. She couldn't. She was a prisoner. So that now she's back home, and so she's nicely dressed, and she's got sindoor right through her parting to the crown of her head. But Hanuman had not seen her with sindoor. So Hanuman, there's Sita, there's Sita just minding her business. And Hanuman came and he looked, and he saw all this red stuff, or orangey stuff, something like that, in her parting. And Hanuman's like checking her out. Are you all right? Did you hit your head? And Sita said, no, this is sindoor. I'm wearing it for Ram. Because if the wife wears sindoor in their parting, then it means the husband will have a long life and be very healthy and strong. It's very good for the husband, so I wear it for Ram. And Hanuman said, really? It's good for Ram? Yes, it's very good for Ram. Oh, I see. All right. And off went Hanuman. And then came Ram. And now Ram and Sita are there and talking to each other. Suddenly, a red figure from head to toe jumped out. Jai Shri Ram. And they couldn't understand who or what is this. And then they saw, oh, it's Hanuman. And Ram said, what did you do, Hanuman? You got sindoor all over yourself. And Hanuman said, right, because Sita, Mother Sita, told me she just keeps a little bit in her parting, and it's very good for you. You'll have a long life and be healthy and strong. And I want the best for you. So from now on, I'm going to wear sindoor all over. So you see, if you go to India, that there are particularly roadside temples and other temples, like little sort of shriny type things. Often you get deities of Hanuman red-orange, more like orange and red. Yeah, because of that pastime. So Lord Ram told Hanuman, listen, Hanuman, thanks, but no thanks. You don't have to do it. Don't do that. Just be normal. Be yourself. Yes, so anyway, all married ladies should note this and part your hair in the center and wear sindoor, and your husband will live a long life and be very good for him. Of course, if you would rather, he doesn't live so long, and so you can collect the insurance, then don't wear it, and we'll see how it all works out. Hare Krishna. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Shri Ram Navami Mahotsava Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nicely. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.